After a week break, the final arc of Oshi no Ko finally begins in chapter 153. What we've been waiting for is finally happening. Hikaru and Aqua talk as father and son in this chapter, and it's amazing to see. It's interesting as Hikaru also goes more into detail about what actually happened between Ai and him. In particular, how things ended between them. But I'm just gonna start with the chapter so you can see what I mean. It opens right where the last chapter ended surprisingly. Aqua states a description of Hikaru, who's the managing director of Ai's media and the real father of Taiki, Ruby, and him. And again, Aqua tells Hikaru to his face that he stands here to get his revenge against him. Hikaru doesn't seem mad though, and realizes that Aqua investigated him as much as he could. He then tells Aqua how he enjoyed the movie as an audience member very much. The information was accurate, and the actors put on a spine-chilling performance. He knows Aqua was involved in the script writing too, and tells him that it was a great story. However, Hikaru states that this movie is ultimately just a piece of fiction. He mentions fabrication, where we see a scene of Ai and Hikaru talking, then says exaggeration, along with a panel of Ai meeting Airi. Then he says hiding inconvenient things, with a completely black panel as a way to express that, and then tells Aqua that such works filled with fiction are just entertainment that can be found anywhere. Aqua then finally talks, asking Hikaru if that's what he really thinks. So with that, Hikaru answers with an example, the kissing scene with Ai. The movie depicted Ai and him having an awkward, but also an age-appropriate relationship. One Aqua depicted as a mutual understanding type of love, but actually it wasn't like that at all. Hikaru states that he was the one who depended on Ai. That's because the real Ai wasn't that affectionate, and the real him was starving for more love. Ai just didn't know how to take care of herself, so she couldn't reject him. Hikaru believes Ai never loved someone like him. He miserably clung to a woman who dumped him, and then he foolishly killed her out of spite. That's all there is to the story. Hikaru then tells Aqua that the real them were much more realistic. No acting or dramatics, just a common story that would make the news once in a while. Then Hikaru mentions that he understands that because of the movie, he will be socially ruined. He congratulates Aqua, telling him that he has achieved his goal. Aqua doesn't seem to be too pleased about this though, as he questions if Hikaru is just going to confess his sins and be punished by society. Hikaru just asks if there are any other options. Then we see a panel of the DVD Ai left, as Hikaru questions if this is what Ai truly wanted. If revenge on him is our wish, then Hikaru will accept it because he loved Ai from the bottom of his heart. Hikaru now tells Aqua that he's glad they could finally talk. It must have been irritating to have the murderer, who killed his mother, try to push their own feelings onto him. But this is how Hikaru truly feels. Hikaru then opens the door, ready to leave, before Aqua tells him to wait. Aqua questions if Hikaru really doesn't understand what Ai wished for him in the DVD. Hikaru pauses with somewhat of a shocked expression, as Aqua questions if Hikaru really doesn't understand what the 15-year lie involving Ai is really about. The work is not just fiction. Thankfully, the chapter doesn't end there, as we then jump straight into a flashback, the funeral for Airi and Seijuro. Hikaru is there with none other than Kin Daiichi, who says that Hikaru must be the one who's suffering the most. Kin Daiichi was the one who directed the Tokyo Blade performance, and also looked after Taiki after his parents died. He was also there for Hikaru back then too, telling him that he will have to carry on with that pain. Hikaru, who is still alive, must shoulder the burden of living their lives from now on. He's starting to break now, and you can see what Airi left behind. We see a young Taiki standing alone, as Hikaru questions what Kin Daiichi meant by carrying that burden. Holding a signature bouquet of white flowers, Hikaru begins freaking out as he questions if he really has to bear that burden. And we see Kin Daiichi looking at Hikaru shocked and confused, which makes me wonder if Kin Daiichi knows the truth. Does he know, or does Hikaru tell him about Taiki? We see the white flowers that fall onto the floor, as Hikaru begins narrating his thoughts at the time. The weight of life is crushing his heart. It's painful and he turns to Ai for help. We see Hikaru hugging Ai, claiming that she's the only one who understands him. This next page here has some pretty dark stuff, as Hikaru says he feels the gaze filled with desire, that only values his appearance. Basically those only want him based on his looks, and not anything else. That's why when someone says they love him, Hikaru can only see it as a lie. Then we see Psycho Airi on top of him, as Hikaru explains how he feels that only by giving up his body can he receive love from others, because that's how it works so far. That makes me wonder if Airi wasn't the only one who took advantage of Hikaru, or did his relationship with Ai make him that same way, because on the next page, we see Hikaru saying that they're the same. Him and Ai, they understood each other. Ai is now the one with Hikaru in bed. Hikaru himself seems a bit shocked as his narration says Ai accepted him. She loved him. I guess that's how Aqua and Ruby came to be then. Although I feel like there's definitely more context missing, because we don't have Ai's side of the story yet. We only have Hikaru's thoughts here, as someone who is desperately clinging to her. Hopefully we get Ai's true perspective eventually, but for now it seems that they actually got along happily for a time, as you see them walking cheerfully through a city together. Hikaru also continues his narration by saying there's no one else for him but Ai, and that there's no one else for Ai but him. If they continue to support each other and live together, they should be able to endure this burden. That's how it was supposed to be. But then we see Hikaru looking surprised as he shakily asks what Ai said again. Ai's in the bathroom with a toothbrush in hand, and just casually tells Hikaru that's probably better if they don't meet anymore. And the chapter ends with Hikaru looking so broken that his eyes are so dark you can't even see the star gone. To Hikaru, those words rang out like the world was falling apart. And that's how they broke up. The fact Ai said that with a smile too is wild, like she didn't really care at all. I'm gonna be giving Ai the benefit of the doubt though. Ai is hiding her true emotions at that point, and we know how good she is at doing that. Even if this hurts her just as much, she won't even show Hikaru that. After all, we know Ai couldn't be certain that she truly loved Hikaru yet, so even right now, she was capable of lying through a smile while breaking up with Hikaru. I also think Ai is probably breaking up to protect him as well, or both of them for that matter. She's likely pregnant at this time too, and doesn't want Hikaru's career to potentially be hampered if people found out. That, or maybe Ai realized that their relationship was actually starting to get pretty unhealthy, especially if she knew how much Hikaru relied on her. It's kinda hard to speculate though when we don't know Ai's side of the story yet. I'm hoping we get that soon now that we're in the final arc. This interaction between father and son was also definitely a great opening to the arc too. And it makes me wonder how Aqua will view Hikaru now. Although if he knows Ai's perspective already through the DVD, then this wouldn't change anything. At least I think so. What do y'all think though? Why did Ai break up with Hikaru like that? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. I got some more Oshi content here too that you can check out. Peace.